Hello everyone, how are you? Today we're doing a map mastery guide for Temple of Anubis. Now I know there are a ton of map guides out there for every map, and I know that in the past I've said I'm not very interested in doing a map guide for that reason, but I'm a different man now. I just run off of views. Yeah, pretty much. That's all that matters anymore is just those sweet YouTube analytics. But in all seriousness, though, there's still a lot to learn about these maps, and I'm not going to say anything too obvious that hopefully you've heard before because a lot of these maps are still played, I don't know, pretty sketchily in ranked, especially Temple of Anubis, in my opinion, is by far the biggest offender. So that's what we're starting with first. So for each of these, we're going to start with the attackers and then move into the defenders. And let's get the obvious stuff out of the way first. There's basically three ways to go in this map. There's this way. This is the only entrance, by the way, in the front. There's this way, under the bridge, and to the right-hand side. To save time, I can just assure you right now that this path is no good because, as you walk through, you have the low ground the entire time. It's basically just a giant gauntlet shooting gallery that you're being killed the entire time. So we're left with the other side two paths. Also note, of course, that there is this nice little window there for those who don't know. Just refresher, really. Any sort of mobile hero like Genji, especially, or even Pharah, any of those heroes can climb up here in the back and do a little backstabbery. So with that in mind, let's talk about these two routes. First, we're going to start with this side path here. This is the left side for the defenders. Now, this is probably the most popular one, I think, in solo queue. At every level, people tend to like to go left, which is a bit odd, because on the left-hand side, you only have this one entrance here. Of course, you have your flankers and stuff. They can go up there, but they wouldn't be with the team anyway, so that's beside the point. So you have to go through the door. And that's not very good. It's a pretty bad choke point. And you have no flexibility. See, this is a very long path, right? So if you go in here, you've committed 100%. 1,000 million percent, you're definitely going to go through that door because you're not going to be like, oh, okay, go here and then go all the way back and backtrack. It's just too long. So the enemy can easily react to you, the defenders. All right, let's not judge it yet, though. Let's go to the other path and see what that has to offer. That's generally this direction in general. So once you've broken into this side of the map, you have a lot of options. You can obviously go into the building, which is your first thing, which comes out here. And yes, this is a little bit of a choke point. And that's not very good, but it is an option, right? You have to always keep in mind your options. You can continue up the stairs and have this part right here. This is some nice high ground that you can use to take the point. And then you can even further loop around to back here as well, where you have some more room. And, you could even just go underneath the bridge still. You don't need to take this long path just from here. You can go, oh, well, we decided to go under there. So you can see we have a lot of options, including some very nice high ground options, some maybe less ideal options, but they're still there in case you need to take them. So lots of different directions we can go from. Once you go into this right-hand side from the attacker's perspective, lots of stuff opens up, and you pretty much have all of your tools available to you. Again, if we contrast this with the left-hand side, that's it. So if you remember all those arrows you saw before, it was like arrow, 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 arrow before on the right-hand side. For the left-hand side, it's just ba-dup. That's all you have. And now, of course, let's also talk about your flanker because everyone loves this little window over here. For good reason, too. It's a good window. Now, the flanker generally isn't with your team necessarily. There's good reason for that. If you push in from this direction and your flanker flanks, in quotation marks, from this direction, well, it's no longer really a flank, is it? Because the other team is now looking at you because you're coming this way, and now your flanker is also coming this way. So it's not really a good flank. But if we attacked on the right side and we have all these arrows pointing in this direction, you can now see how it becomes much better because, of course, the other team is all looking that way. And now your flank from the window can come around from that direction. So you have this, you want this surround to happen where the defensive team can't really get one good angle to hold you from. All right, so we just went over the really nice circle surround that the attackers have available to them on this map, but what can the defenders do about it? Something you see very commonly, even in pro matches, even in top 500 GM matches or whatever, is the teams hold up here. And this makes sense, especially in solo queue, because like I said, the most popular way to attack is this way, so it makes sense if you're standing here so you can defend against that, right? But you also see this constantly lose. And by the way, I'm going to be drawing a lot of arrows this game, guys. I heard the kids love arrows, so I'm going to be drawing arrows. I hope that arrows don't trigger you or you have a phobia or anything like that. So this is a very common tactic that you see, and it really just destroys this defense where you go in from the front with a Winston or something. Oh, let's add another arrow there. Go in with a Winston or something. You have a flank around with Genji, and then you do this 2-pronged push, or just you can just take one path, doesn't matter. At least 3 of these arrows, though, will be used pretty easily, and there's nothing the defending team can do about it. They just sort of get crushed. Also, remember that the strongest position on this map for the attackers is over here in general, and this position doesn't stop that, because you're standing here and the other team just shimmies by you and takes that prime real estate. You're then stuck in the situation I outlined before where you're here, the other team has taken all of this high ground, they have a flanker over here, and it's not looking so good for you because the only thing you can do is go defend the point, which results in this big surround sound deal that we had going on before. So actually the best place to defend is leaning towards this right-hand side. A very strong thing is put us. Well, we'll talk about that later. This one, but having teams up here, having a teammate up here on the balcony or on the stairway, peeking like this, having a teammate peeking like this, having your team just hold on this side of the bridge, that is going to prevent. So you have high ground up here. That's going to prevent the other team from easily pushing up and attacking here. It's still going to be an even fight. They have this thing available to them, that you're opening up that. So it's still going to be an even fight. It's not going to be, easy peasy, you win, but it's going to be a lot better than this. And most importantly, you're trying to deny this super quad-pronged mega attack, mega super good positioning from the attackers from happening. And now the easy thing, so what I was talking about with this side before, it takes such a long time to rotate out of it. You know that if they come in here, they're fully committed. There's no way they're going to go woo all the way around. That's not going to happen. So if you see that happen, you can easily react. Because you're right here. You can just, okay, come over here. And now suddenly we're defending. But boy, are the minutes ticking away. And I don't want this video to be too long. So I think that that's all the important aspects of point A for now. So next we have point B, and this is the exact same thing that we see in the first point, just it's kind of illustrated a little bit differently. So this is, we're Dota now. We have these 3 lanes that we can go through. And the most popular one, and we're just going to erase this off the get-go again to save time, is this one. It's very bad. So this doesn't actually give you any advantage. It's just this gauntlet of death again. Very, very long approach time. You have no cover. See, there's no cover here. It doesn't actually give you any real advantage. You don't have any, this is just a brick wall. You can't go through that. So there's no added, real estate that you're getting from just walking up the center here. That's not very good. Similarly to just running under the bridge in the first point. But now let's talk about the second most popular by a very close margin, I feel. If not, it's actually getting more and more popular. It might be more popular at this point, is this left-hand side in the crypt area, a lot of people call it. And in the crypt area, you see again, we have this very long pathway up into a single choke point and no other real entrances. So once you go into crypt, once you're here, you're committed. There's no way you're going to go, because there's nowhere to go. You have to go all the way back basically and reset your entire push. So that's not going to happen. So once you see a team come into crypts, 100% they are committed. They're coming through this specific doorway and nowhere else. And you can see how that would be a problem for the attackers, because going through a single choke point with no other options is maybe not perfect. But yeah, again, let's not judge. Let's look at our third option. Our third option is over here. This is very rarely, if ever, maybe once in a blue moon, used as an offensive path. This right-hand path from the side of the attackers, left-hand, of course, from the side of the defender. So let's do what we do best and draw some arrows. So the first way we can go is up, 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 and around in this direction. We can also go up and over in the stairs. We can even, we can even have access to this middle area because we can just go bloop and hop over there. This also gives us access to bloop, bloop up here because any hero can jump from this to this, as we'll go over later. So we can see we have a lot of arrows, a lot of options. This is pretty much exactly the same thing as point A. It's literally the same point in concept. So I know it's not quite as familiar, so let's be a little bit more graphical. So our first path is we can hop up here and down. We have all this nice cover. We can pop up there if we want to. We can come around over here, peek that if we want to. The other option is to just come over up these stairs. Again, this is some more cover. We can peek, ledge peek here. And we also have access to this nice big health pack as well. And what I was talking about before is, of course, this high ground area up here that you now have access to. So you have all of these arrows coming up from this side, lots of different ways around. Plus you can have your one flanker come from crypts. And now you have this nice surround situation that we were talking about before. And so let's actually talk about this real quick. Why you have your flanker come from here and your team come from here. It might be obvious, I don't know. But so here we only have one pathway to go through. So that's pretty suitable for one hero. Here we have lots of different routes, lots of space to kind of spread out, do whatever you want. So that's going to be better for a full team. A flanker is not going to be able to utilize all these various pathways. So that's why we have the full team come over here and the flanker come over here. Of course, that's not the only place you can flank. You can, depending on your mobility, you can do a cute flank up here. You can do some stuff like that. You can come under the bridge, come up like this. I guess there really aren't that many other options, but they're there. In general, though, flanks come from this direction. But now for the defenders, we have kind of a unique issue that we weren't experiencing before. So on point A, the easy thing is, they like to take, so the attackers would really like to have this area of the map. So the defenders should just defend this area of the map, right? But we have a little bit of an issue, and that's with this thing. So of course the attackers can come from there, or they can hop over and come from back here. That means any hold that you take from here will just naturally, if you're holding here, that's a natural pincer you have you're putting yourself into. And at this point, it's very easy for your team to be split. So a stray random support gets caught down there, a random DPS gets caught over there. That happens very easily. Plus, remember, the enemy team has this. This is the attacker's territory. The attackers just naturally control this. And that gives them access to this high ground, which is very good at dealing with any sort of defenders in this area. So you can't simply hold here, unfortunately, on defense. Actually, there are no really amazing spots to hold on Anubis point B, but the best one is definitely in crypts or in this general area. More specifically, of course, you have your Reinhardt sitting over here, and you have the spam down the corridor. That always happens, right, on Anubis. Keep them from just walking straight down the middle, right? But then, most importantly, if you see them coming through crypts, again, if they come through crypts, if they do this thing, they're fully committed 100%. They can't come back without taking a billion years to come back. So once they do that, just shimmy on over to the right-hand side here, because your team should all be over here already. So they can just go, just shimmy over, and now this is very hard to push against on the attacking side. They're walking into big high ground advantage, big cover here. Look at all that cover, all those pillars, plus they're not even on the point yet. This is not even the point that they're fighting over. They're still a very long way away. This is not a good place for the attackers to be, and you should take advantage of that by fighting them in here, having your team be in a position where they can actually come and, defend in time for the attackers to get to crypt. On the other side, if the attackers choose to come through here, well, you're defending out here anyway, and you should be using, this little cover here with crypt. You can use this corner here, no problem. You can also use this angle as well. So there's all these nice little angles to look at the attackers from, and they're now all forced, because remember, all these arrows converge onto this line pretty much. So they can't catch you by surprise, and they're forced to pretty much fight on fair ground. Now, of course, there is always the danger of the flanker coming from behind in crypts, or from, if they're more mobile, up this brick wall or whatever. And that's unfortunately something you just have to deal with. You just have to spot it out, use your ears, use the footsteps, maybe have a support check behind their back every once in a while. But unfortunately, you're always going to be caught, at the very least, with a flanker messing you up while you're here defending. So played properly, Anubis point B is actually quite offensive attacker favored, which the reason it's not that way in solo queue is just because teams are using the wrong strategy. All right, here's the fun part. Let's get some fun music for this one. All the tips and tricks and stuff, whatever, I'll call this the tech. All right, this is the map tech, just random stuff you might not have known if you don't read Reddit a lot. So first thing, most obvious thing that seems silly until you realize you maybe didn't know this before, is that you can get onto this high ground just by boop, 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 jumping up there. And you can do that pretty easily. So I was saying before that holding this area on defense and point A is very strong and preferable, and a very strong area that you can reach actually with soldier with no rocket jumps, no tricks, nothing like that, is this area right here. You can easily retreat. This is very nice, a very nice high ground. You can really do a lot of damage to anyone coming up here. Again, you can hide back once you get injured. And if you are really feeling cute, you can come up here, although this is much more dangerous than just standing like normal on this high ground. Of course, you can actually get anybody up on this high ground if you have a Mei on your team. Just by coincidence, if you happen to have a Mei on your team, you can get anyone up here just with a simple wall. Speaking of Mei, here's a gimmicky wall that probably has no real application in a game. So you can actually shimmy your wall up a corner usually, and you can jump at the same time, get a wall up higher than you're supposed to, and actually get up through the window with Mei. And actually, anyone who feels like jumping simultaneously with you, it's a bit silly to set up and it requires a lot of time. So not very practical, but kind of cool, maybe? But all right, check this one out, and I swear this is the last one. We'll get to useful stuff in a second, guys, but check this one out. So you can actually jump and kind of clip up onto that little ledge there. And so if you get a soldier up there and you wall him off while he walks forward a little bit so he doesn't clip into the ceiling above him. Now he has to walk forward, crouching forward at the same time you put the wall down. So this requires coordination. He can actually get up there and rocket jump up onto that archway with just a single Mei wall. So again, that's ridiculous and completely impractical, but it's cool tech. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the maybe kind of practical stuff. Who knows? Also, if you have a Symmetra with a Mei on your team, again, you can put a teleporter back here, and it's very nice. Just a couple more things, and this is not new, original, super top secret tech, guys. I'm not claiming this is, world's first or anything, but to get over the broken bridge, you just kind of go around like this. This is just in case people don't know, okay? Don't get on me in the comments for this. If you're over here, you can get up here with any hero, just like that, up the corner. It looks like a jump you can't make, but indeed you can make it. It actually makes for a pretty nasty little surprise. Like if you're standing down here or so, and they jump over the ledge. Or if you're kind of peeking this area and you want to get around them, this is a very effective. This is a really good way to catch people by surprise. But while we're up here, here is the action. Here's another thing. So to get up onto this high ground, any hero can do that. Any hero can get up here. Not just if you have a movement ability. You just come up here. Come up here, get on this little block, and there you go. We're up on the high ground. Now, there are a bunch of little gimmicky soldier jumps on this map that I don't find particularly useful, but this one is actually kind of useful, and that's the rocket jump you can use to get up onto this high ground. All right, I'll throw one more soldier thing, okay? But just one more. So if you're stuck down here and the fight's going on and you want to get back in, you can sprint up onto the high ground and sprint up onto the bridge. And now, voila, you're onto the point without having to go all the way through Crypt. Also, if you're on Tracer, you actually have a way to get up onto that sniping perch. You just come up here onto this little block here. You do actually kind of a precise blink up onto this one here, and then you just go boop, boop, boop. There you go. We're on here. And that was all the tech I could think of that was actually kind of useful, like you'd use it maybe once a game at least, more than once every 1,000 games. you could actually use these things. Besides the Maywalls, those were just cool. But that's that. Quick reminder, I do stream Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so if you want to come check that out, it's really great. It's a fun community. Very, very, very nice. Probably the best Twitch chat I've ever seen, so come check it out. I'll be live probably when this video is up. So come stop by. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are there any super top secret strats that I maybe didn't think of? Any cool tech that I missed that is super useful and ultra broken? Let me know. Anyway, never forget to stay positive and have a great day. Peace out, guys.